Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Teachers Training Program, that is Film, Future Educational Leadership and Management. I am Dr. Halima Sadia, and I wish you all the best for these two wonderful sessions that we are going to have this evening. The first session we are going to have by Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab, who is from West Bengal, and he has more than 3 decades of experience in the field of education. Ladies and gentlemen, he is going to speak about teachers, a pedagogical leader, and I wish you all the best for this session. Now, Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab, over to you. And I request all the audience and participants to kindly make it more interactive so that you can make the best use of this session. Now, over to you, Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Good evening. Namaskar. Sat Sri Akal. My topic has 3 words, 3 phrases: teacher, pedagogical, and leader. All the 3 words are full of several sets of meanings, nuances, and it's not possible to bring together all the 3 words in a session of just half an hour. But I would try to bring the core issues, the crux of the matter regarding leaders, teaching, pedagogy, teachers. Let me start with the most important word, that is leader. Because teachers are leaders. They lead students from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from failure to success. Pedagogues traditionally were persons who led students to schools. So teachers themselves are leaders. Pedagogues, a very ancient word coming from Greek language. This word too has several shades of leadership. And the leader, the last word. So I will begin from the last word, leader. And before talking about leader, I would like to talk about 3 words associated with 3 forms of leaders. Number 1 is power. Some leaders are very much powerful. They exert their leadership through punishment and reward. Number 2, the second word is authority. It is nothing but the power legitimized in management meetings or in Lok Sabhas or in Rajya Sabhas. When we legitimize the power, it becomes authority. And the last one is influence. Influence is something which is based on exemplary behavior, trust, cooperation, inspiration, decentralization, delimitation. And my focus on teachers as pedagogical leaders would be on this word, influence. Teachers must be influential. So how teachers are pedagogical leaders? More often in post-pandemic era, where we are passing through a new paradigm, a new normal, all things have changed. The students have changed psychologically, they have changed ethically. As far as the use of technology is concerned, they have changed a lot. There was a time that when bringing mobiles in classrooms, were viewed as sins. It was a sinful act. But today, in hybrid mode of teaching and hybrid mode of learning, we are using this mobile very much. More often, we are dependent on mobile phones while teaching. Everything is not normal. Schools have opened, but the condition of pre-COVID classroom situation, teaching learning situation is no longer seen right now after almost 2 years of closure of schools. So today, teachers are passing through a very critical phase. There are several new challenges, particularly the teachers who are catering to minority students in minority localities. They are passing through a very critical phase. There are complex human resources to deal. The students have changed. The parents belong to very poor socio-economic conditions. There are infrastructural needs. The whole educational system of India, or say West Bengal particularly, is based on classroom teaching learning, where there is a building, students will go there, teachers will also go there. In a classroom situation, the teacher will go teach the students sitting on benches under fans, using a blackboard or whiteboard with marker pen or chalk. So chalk, talk, and walk. This was the paradigm. And our whole educational system has been built on this paradigm. But after sudden closure of schools from March 2020, when we were forced to switch over to mobile phones, hybrid mode of teaching, the case was not so simple. Children have lost many things. Intellectually, they have moved. They have not moved, sorry. Intellectually, they have faced downhill. They have faced degeneration. They have faced downfall. A student studying in class 5 in 2020 has gone physically to class 7 this year, but intellectually he or she has slided down to class 3 or 4. This is the case in all over India. I'm not talking about 5 or 6% students who belong to elite class studying in elite schools, English medium schools. I have had the experience of handling 2 minority schools. And what I have seen that the students, after coming to school after 2 years, they have faced serious threats economically, intellectually. They have grown physically, but their condition is very bad. This is one area where teachers have to show their true leadership. Then there is a severe workload on teachers nowadays. When we were students at secondary level, teachers just taught us and indulged us into some co-curricular activities, which was called extracurricular activities at that time. I'm talking about 80s and 90s. Today there is severe workload. We have to serve midday meal. We have to distribute uniforms. We have to fill scholarship forms. We have to fill Kanyasri forms. We have to fill Vivekanand scholarship forms. So severe and huge workload on teachers. The time has not changed. 365 days are there. 220 days of learning teaching is there, but workload has increased. Entry into Bangla Sikha portal, where each and every student must be enrolled in government provided Bangla Sikha portal. And adding to the O is the lack of staff in schools. The school where I am working now has no group D, no group C. There are 5 posts of non-teaching staff, and there's only 1 staff non-teaching. He's a sweeper. It has become a Herculean task to maintain the school. to maintain or oversee properly the teaching learning situation. But as the new educational policy 2020 says that teachers truly shape the future of our children and therefore the future of our nation. New education policy, NEP 2020. And National Policy on Education 1986, it said no system of education can rise higher than its teachers. Teachers have such a highly elevated position. And if I talk of Secondary Education Commission 1952-53, it says the most important factor in the contemplated educational reconstruction is the teacher. So the teachers have a very high position in society. So we cannot take recourse to fight. We cannot take recourse to flight. There are these two words, fight and flight. Do we as teachers fight with the situation and win over it and make our students successful? Or do we take recourse to flight? If you take recourse to flight, we are bound to be defeated. We are bound to fail. And if you take recourse to fight, we might win. The chances of winning is very much high. So as teachers and as nation builders, we must fight all together in the new paradigm, 21st century, post-pandemic era, where students in West Bengal particularly, they came back into schools in the month of February, after almost 2 years. We as teachers might have several causes not to do a work. We lack staff, we lack infrastructure, we lack tech-savvy educational infrastructure. There are no teaching labs. There are no teaching, learning, instructional, computer-assisted or computer-generated materials. A vast majority of schools, even today, depend on chalk, talk, and walk. So we might have several causes not to do a work, but we have to find a single cause to do a particular work, and that is leading the students as true leaders. So what should we do now? As nation builders, we as teachers have two types. Number one, transactional leaders, and number two, transformational leaders. Transactional leaders, they just maintain the status quo. Everything will remain the same, whatever is there. But transformational leaders, they lead from the front and they transform the lives of the students, the school atmosphere, the teaching learning scenario, they change it for better. So we need to grow some core qualities of a teacher that we call the traits of a teacher. We should have mastery over our content, our subject. We should have integrated personality, not split personality. Integrated and honest personality, not in looks, but in values, in ethics, in professionalism, in vocationalism. Teaching is not just a profession, it is a vocation too. Because in all other professions, we deal with non-living beings. An engineer deals with non-living beings. But a teacher, a priest, a doctor, he or she deals with human beings, vibrant, living human beings. So teaching is something which combines both professionalism and vocationalism. We cannot suffer from hopelessness. There is no place of hopelessness. We should have sound knowledge of the teaching skills, the maxims of teaching, and the professional ethics. We all know the maxims of teaching, where we have to lead from known to unknown, from abstract to concrete, from simple to complex. And professional ethics, there should be a very high ethical standard for teachers. It might be so that a children happens to be the sibling of my worst enemy, but I have to care him or her in the same way as I care my own children. That is the epitome of professional ethics as far as teaching is concerned. The teachers have to play several roles. A teacher is an instructor. It is also called instructional input. So when a teacher begins his or her teaching, it is pre-teaching phase where he has to prepare himself or herself. And then comes the while teaching phase where he has to deliver the content before the students. And that delivery must be interactional, not one-sided, not lecture mode. It must be collaborative. All the students in the class must be engaged. They must collaborate with the teacher. There may be genius students in the class, and there might be dulls in that same classroom. But a teacher, as a true leader, must collaborate all students. That is the crux of the matter. And then comes the post-teaching phase, where the teacher has to evaluate, give feedback, offer remedial teaching to weak students. So this one role of teacher as an instructor, as an instructional input, is very much important. The teacher also is a manager of a classroom. We know that teaching is a vocation as well as profession because we deal with the vibrant living students who have their own emotions, their own thought process. They have their own IQs. They have their own EQs, emotional quotients, intelligent quotients. They have their own spiritual quotients. We are not working like goldsmith on non-living gold. We are not working like carpenter on non-living wood, piece of wood. We are not ironsmiths working on dead iron pieces. We are working on living, vibrant, emotional, intelligent students who are full of multiple intelligence, who are full of multiple level of creativity. Most of whom we as teachers just teach and teach and teach till the time we kill all creativity, all intelligence of the students through lecture mode, making the students passive listeners. So the task is very much Herculean, not so easy. The students are living beings. They have their own thought process. They might come from different backgrounds. One example, a student can hate a cat or a dog. But in the same classroom, yet another student can have a passionate love of cat and dog, because both are coming from different social and family backgrounds. Some are noisy, some are very mute, very calm. So as a true teacher, as a true leader, we as teachers have to become a manager. We have to play the role of a manager. Then comes teacher's role as counselor. This area, this counseling area, this is what is going to become the foremost task of a teacher in coming days. As far as I perceive, as far as I believe, what I am seeing, because due to severe and frequent use of technology, mobile phones, tablets, students are suffering from severe mental ailments. And I believe that every cluster of schools at district level will have a counselor to counsel the students. The students who are thinking of committing suicide when they face failure. In fact, what we as parents and we as teachers are doing, that we are only talking about success. We're talking about quota, we're talking about JAHAN-E, we're talking about reputed international schools, we're talking about Ukraine, Oxford. We are only talking about success, how to succeed in life. We are not talking about how to handle failure. How students are going to handle if they fail in NEET exam, if they fail in Madhyamik secondary exam, if they fail at intermediate level. So this would become a core issue in coming days, teacher's role as a counselor. Every teacher must be trained in some sort of psychological counseling. There are frequent cases of suicide coming here from here and there. Next comes teacher as a facilitator. We know that teachers are friends, philosophers, and guides, but they have moved onwards. They have become facilitators. The students are like seeds, healthy seeds. They have the capacity to germinate. They have the capacity to grow into full-blown trees and then laden with fruits. And the teacher has to act like a gardener, a skilled gardener who can nourish the seed, giving it water, sunlight, manure, so that it germinates itself. Every student has, I told earlier, that every student is unique and full of potentialities, full of multiple intelligence, multiple creativity. We cannot talk only the mathematical intelligence, linguistic intelligence, verbal intelligence, non-verbal intelligence, historical intelligence. No. Today, the students are laden with several shades of intelligence, multiple intelligence.
Thank you, Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab. I request you to wind up because our next speaker, Mr. Arun Subramaniam, has already joined us. Yes, over to you.
So, how many minutes I am given?
5 more minutes are there.
Okay, 5 more minutes. So, I will just complete it within 5 more minutes. Next comes a teacher as a community participant, teacher as a nation builder. So, we cannot escape. Teachers cannot escape. They cannot take recourse to flight. They cannot be casual. So in post-COVID era, we need to collaborate with parents, the learners, and in school we have two sorts of leadership. One is called administrative, and the other is called instructional. The headmaster is the administrative head, and all teachers are instructional leaders in their own. You must have a holistic vision, artistry, intelligence, You must have dedication. And you must invite positive feedback. You must accept criticism. And that I do in my new school. I ask my teachers to criticize me. And I give feedback forms to all guardians and tell them to fill it, and then return back to it. Turn back to me. In this way, we can know how far we are successful. At last, I will tell that all children who are coming to school and who are attending my classroom, they are my children. And if you just accept this viewpoint, if you just keep it in mind that all children in my classroom, they are my own children, this will help us to grow leadership traits, leadership qualities, and we can achieve success. And the success of a true leader doesn't depend upon how much he has achieved. It depends on rather how invisible his leadership is and how much the team he is leading achieves. With these words, I end my speech. Thank you all. Thank you, Halima Sadia ma'am, for inviting me and giving me this chance to speak. I'm suffering from fever and sore throat, but I enjoyed this session and will also enjoy the next session of Subhanian Sahib. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. It was really a well prepared speech, and it was spoken from the heart. And I believe that all my colleagues who are sitting here, the teachers, faculty, will agree with me that whatever Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab has said, it is each and every word is true. And the teacher's role has multiplied after COVID, as we all have to be, all have to play the multiple roles to build the nation, whatever loss has been made during these 2 years. Thank you very much. And I request each one of you, please switch on your videos and give a big round of applause to Mohammad Nasruddin Sahab. We have to have the attitude of gratitude. The speaker who has prepared, the speaker who has spared his valuable time, the speaker who has given us his half an hour of his life free of cost. He has not taken anything from us. We have to be grateful to him and give a big round of applause to him. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, that we have invited a person whom I admire always, a person who is a role model for me, a person whom I admire as a leader, as a trainer, and as a person who is full of life and energy. Mr. Arun Subramaniam. Please give a big round of applause to Mr. Arun Subramaniam ji, who is a multifaceted individual with over 43 years of experience as a business leader and entrepreneur, with more than 2 decades as CEO in various national and multinational companies. As a senior management team member at several leading companies, he has built and managed organizations in the face of significant regulatory, technological, and industrial change. These experiences have given him a ringside view of the shifting paradigm in the business world and the strategies that need to be employed to address them effectively. Over the last 30 years, he has conducted over 90 management development workshops on team and teaming for high performance, creativity, design thinking, and innovation, employee engagement, change management, strategic decision making, negotiation, and conflict resolution. Now, today we have invited him for his very useful and effective workshop. I have attended once and I found that it was really fantastic when he was speaking that how storytelling is going to be the most effective method, not only for the teachers, but all the people who are dealing with the human beings. So today he is going to enlighten us about the effectiveness and science behind the storytelling. With a big round of applause and lots of gratitude from AIEM and EduFam International, I request Mr. Arun Subramaniam ji to kindly start the session.
Thank you, Halima ji, for your wonderful words. And thank you